Welcome to the channel.
Where you will get
Real life stories.
real life experiences. Welcome to
Welcome to today's topic, guys. We are going to be doing today's topic on supplementation, basically our experiences on certain things that we take, why we take them, and which ones. This is not going to be this is not based off a nutritionist, dietitian. This is stuff that we have chosen to take ourselves and why we're choosing to take them. So we're going to go over the four following things since Jerry and I both take them. It's going to be creatine, glutamine, protein, and multivitamins. And I think we're pretty excited to do this. There will be a part 2 to the supplementation video, which will probably include pre-workout, post-workout, intra-workout, stuff like that. But these are probably the core about muscle building that I would say and to sustain the muscle. So the first one we're going to start with today is creatine. So Jerry, why don't you give your experience on creatine, why you take it? Is there a difference if you take a certain one? Is it why you take that one maybe? And what type of creatine?
Yeah, so I started taking creatine many years ago when I first started getting into weight training. The main purpose behind it is because creatine has been shown to increase muscle size, muscle density, and also strength, right? Creatine has been a staple for bodybuilders for a very long time, and I have been taking it for a very long time. Now, creatine comes in different forms. Your most popular forms are creatine monohydrate and then creatine hydrochloride. So the difference between the two, mainly for most people, is that people that take creatine monohydrate sometimes complain about bloating and gastric issues, and creatine hydrochloride apparently doesn't cause that. So what you're starting to see is that most supplement companies are leaning towards the hydrochloride route. But ultimately, it comes down to what's the cheapest form of creatine, right? In the sense of, well, how much can you get, per dollar? So my preference is using creatine monohydrate.
Okay.
And I've never had any issues with monohydrate as far as any gastric issues or bloating. Now, at the same time I use monohydrate, I sometimes do use hydrochloride because it's part of my pre-workout supplement, which we're going to get to at a different time. But those are the main two differences between the two. What I would say is that if you're a first-time lifter that's just getting into it for the first time, it's okay to start off with creatine monohydrate. If you do not have any issues such as bloating or gastric stomach issues, in other words, it's okay to go that route. I think that a good dose would probably be 3 to 5 grams a day. I personally like to take it pre-workout because if it were to cause any type of bloating or anything like that, I am already lifting and I'm already sweating, so that kind of helps with that process as well. But monohydrate, 3 to 5 grams, it's fairly cheap. You can probably get a tub for $10 to $15 that'll last you at least 60 days.
Gotcha. And any particular brand that you use all the time? Does it matter to you?
I use the GNC brand. I think every supplement shop company that you can think of has their own version of creatine monohydrate. I went to my local GNC and I got probably, I wouldn't say a pound, but it's a pretty big tub, and I paid $20 for it, and I've had it now for 3 months. And essentially, I just scoop it into my pre-workout or whatever I decide to do that day, and that works for me. And you can buy it online. Go on Amazon. There's plenty of companies that offer it. I would say stick to a company that's reputable. Look at the reviews to make sure you're not getting a low quality product. But other than that, I think you'll be just fine.
Gotcha. So my take on creatine, I started it probably about 8-9 months ago, and due to the same reasons you said, basically, for faster muscle building. And I started with I from the beginning with Cage Muscle with their products, and basically I was doing the powder form. So I remember I bought the first one, which was unflavored, because I wasn't trying to put any sugar or additives in there. And basically after getting it and tasting it, it was probably one of the worst tasting things I ever had. And come to find out, doing some research, it is really acidic. So, the issues is, I guess, it hit certain people's stomach differently because of how acidic it could be. But for me, after that, I still stuck with the powder form. I finished that one, and I got the lemon lime flavor, and it was decent flavored. It had a lot of stevia and sucralose in it, which is not the best for you to have. I guess the sucralose isn't. And I saw great results that I was growing faster and muscle building rather than I was previously. So I definitely believed in the product, I would say. Yeah. And from doing a little research, I found out that from the acidity, taking it every day, because you take yours every day, right?
Yeah, I take mine every day. And one thing that I want to bring up, since you mentioned the taste in particular, that is common for hydrochloride. So
I did fail to say. Yeah. So Jerry does take monohydrate most of the time, I'm guessing. Yeah. Which typically you could find for like $10-15, right?
Yep.
I mean, you can probably find some like top of the line brand if you want to call it, and they're going to charge like $20 to $30 because you're paying for the name on top of it. Mm-hmm. But so I picked hydrochloride for mine because Jerry did mention a few things. For me, it was finding that monohydrate. This could be a myth. Some people have claimed it is, but water retention. Okay. So would you believe in that, Jerry? I mean, I never took monohydrate before, and I was scared to be like, having muscles, it'd be like sort of jello-y because of the water retention.
Yeah. So I think one of the things with creatine is that it does cause water retention, but that's part of what creatine does, right? It helps absorb water, get water into your muscles. Hence why you look fuller and more dense. So it is part of the process. I think that the other part of the water retention was the whole bloating thing. That's where the main complaint came from. But any type of creatine that you take, the purpose of it would be to retain water in your muscles so your muscles look more full or more denser.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of part of the creatine process.
Okay. But so basically, I went, and Jerry and I had this talk like 3 or 4 months ago, actually, I think. And I went from the powder form to the capsule form, the pill form, basically. And I figured by doing that, my teeth won't, react to all the acidity, and then it's supposed to break down your enamel and so on and so forth. And I just don't want to be dealing with any of that with teeth problems, just to take creatine. So I did transfer to that, and it's been, well, I would say I take it every day. So on training days, I'll take it before my workout and then after my workout also. It's about 1.5 grams each time. And then on non-training days, I'll just take 1.5 grams in the morning with breakfast. The only experience I had was if you take it on an empty stomach, you're going to get some muscle cramps. Mm-hmm. Right? You had the same issue?
Yeah, I had the same issue. My pre-workout did have hydrochloride that I was taking. Okay. And what I was doing was taking the hydrochloride pills like you were post-workout, but I was making the mistake of not having it with a meal. So I was on an empty stomach after my workout. It just didn't work. It definitely upset my stomach. It gave me some cramps. So what I found was, for me personally, when I finish working out, I eat food instead of a protein shake. So once I eat, I take the hydrochloride, the pills, and that does work for me as well. If I don't go with the pills, I take creatine monohydrate and I put it in Gatorade, mix it up, and then I'll drink that.
Gotcha. All right. I think that pretty much covers up the creatine. That was a good little, there's our real life experience, guys, on what creatine is to us and how we use it and the reasons why we use certain forms. But next one, which I think would be a small topic, and it's going to be glutamine. Now, glutamine, so I'll start off, Jerry, and then you can get into what your thoughts are. But for me, glutamine is basically the main recovery option you have these days when it comes to, after the gym and the next day being so sore. Glutamine, I believe, and for me, has helped me, and I've tested it like a week without, a week with, and without, I've been like sore for 2-3 days straight sometimes. Taking it could be like a day and a half, whatever, and I'm okay to go to the gym again. So after doing so much research with supplements myself, I realized all these recovery products on the market, and I wonder if you ever did this before, Jerry, but like anything you find that it says recovery, this and that, at the end of the day, it's just glutamine and BCAAs. I mean, there might be some filler things in there that are, I mean, it could be doing a little bit of something, but to me, the main source of recovery for a supplement would be glutamine, and that has helped me. That's pretty cheap, but I also stay with the Cage Muscle stuff. Probably pay like $20 for a tub, and it lasts several months. I mean, is there anything? I mean, that's pretty much for me when it comes to glutamine. What are your thoughts on it, Jerry?
I definitely agree on the fact that it does help with recovery from intense training.
Yeah.
There's really good research on that. The other thing I would say is you're definitely going to find glutamine as well in protein. So protein itself is a breakdown of amino acids, and usually glutamine is your highest amino acid concentrate, or whatever you want to call it. That's in most of your protein powders.
Well,
So,
I will challenge you on one thing on that.
Sure.
Because I could be wrong. Now, in proteins, they have all the BCAAs included, right? Usually. They don't have, from what I've seen, they don't have glutamine. They have glutamic acid, which I asked, and they said that's not the same as glutamine.
Yeah, I mean, that you could be right on that.
Yeah.
From what I have seen, I guess for most protein powders, and I think this is something that we can get into later on when we talk about protein, is some supplements that sell protein, they spike their protein with amino acids as fillers.
Okay.
You look at the labeling on the package, and it tells you 5.5 grams of amino acids in it. But I do believe that ultimately protein as itself, it is a breakdown of amino acids, whether it's the one you're referring to or not. I guess going back to glutamine itself, it really depends on the person. I personally sometimes add it to my protein shakes after my workout. It just really, really depends on how the day's going and what my workout was.
Yeah, I always will. So my regimen for that is after a workout, put it with a protein shake. And then in the morning, because I usually don't work out 7 days a week, or I usually work out like every other day, I would say. Mm-hmm. So I'll have it in the morning with breakfast, basically, or on the way to work. I'll have it with a whatever, some type of drink or whatever I'll make. So that's how I take glutamine. I'll take that, once a day. And if I don't go to the gym the following day, so 2 days after the workout, then I probably won't take it that day. It's just how I do it. I won't take it 2 days in a row, basically. So, okay, so that's pretty cool. The next one, I think we'll stick to protein at the end, because I think that's the most amount of information that we both want to talk about. Multivitamin. Why don't you go ahead with multivitamin? Which one you use? Is there any reason why you use it? And what key ingredients to you do you look for in a multivitamin?
Yeah, so the multivitamin that I use is I just use a typical GNC Megamen Sport multivitamin. I think any multivitamin that's formulated for men will work probably just about for anybody. And you have to remember that the main reason why you're going with a multivitamin is because you're hitting deficiencies for certain vitamins and minerals that you will not get from eating food. So if you're somebody who does not follow a very strict diet of, let's say, eating 5 to 7 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, I guarantee you that 99% of you probably don't do that. That you're probably going to be deficient in something. And a multivitamin will definitely help you kind of fill those gaps in, of the things that you didn't eat for vitamins and minerals that you would need as a man. Now, for me, there's really the only one thing that I can think of in a multivitamin that I do like to make sure it has is vitamin D. So vitamin D is something that most people are deficient in, since we are now homebodies, right? Most people don't spend time outside in the sun. And the sun, the light, whatever, is what helps the body make up vitamin D. So when you're in sunlight, so most of us are going to be deficient in that. And what normally happens is most people that are deficient in vitamin D tend to get sick easier. So usually supplementing with a vitamin that has a good amount of vitamin D, I would say anything over 1,000 IU is going to be really good. I sometimes also supplement separately with a vitamin D supplement to make sure that I am hitting my target vitamin D levels for the day. So,
okay. So I went the other route when it comes to multivitamin. I used to and this is the wrong way to look at it, but I would find multivitamin that had the longest label. You know what I mean? Yeah. And yeah, that's now I look back and I laugh and I'm like, wow, this the dumbest move, you know.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't go so crazy on the multivitamin when it comes to like what's in there. I go for the quality.
Yeah.
So I typically will buy what's called Garden of Life. I don't know if you've heard that brand before, but typically you find them in Whole Foods, Fresh Market, like those type of places. And it's basically all the ingredients are all organic, fermented, you know, whatever. So and it is a little more expensive. So you said how much was your like $20 for
it depends, 15, $20. But one thing that I'll point out is there are so many companies that make multivitamin now. I think Amazon has their own multivitamin. It's like $10, you know? So, yeah, Amazon, of course, taking over.
So like mine usually costs about 40 to 60 per bottle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know, I don't take the whole thing all the time. I think you're supposed to take 4 capsules a day.
Yeah.
I take literally 1 in the morning. That's it. I don't get too crazy with it. And what I found out, when a lot of people probably know this, if you take a whole bunch of pills or you take your multivitamin, some people, you take like, I remember I had GNC before, the Mega Man Sport I took. And I took the recommended dose, and I used to go to the bathroom and I would go, you know, pee, and it'd be like neon yellow.
Yeah.
You know, which is basically a sign that your kidney, I believe, right, when it's trying to process everything, that's like the excess whatever that is getting wasted. So all the money you're putting into vitamins is getting wasted and flushed down the toilet.
Yeah.
So, you know, I didn't want to spend $40 to $60 on a bottle, depending whatever the market is, and be putting it in the toilet. You know, that's my idea.
Literally pissing your money away.
Yeah, that's really what it is. So I basically said, I'm just going to take 1. And, I think I eat a pretty good, I don't call it a diet, you know, just the way I eat. You know what I mean? So that, yes, I'm not getting like if they have like a whole bunch of ingredients in a multivitamin, like sprouts and all this stuff that they include in there. Yes, I might not be getting that, but I think I do pretty well. And remember, guys, a multivitamin is really to supplement what you're not eating, to bring that, you know, into your body to replenish whatever. So yeah, so basically that's what I do. I go with that, and that will last me typically a long time because I'm not taking 4 capsules a day, you know, so it's lasting pretty long for me.
Yeah.
So I don't mind spending the $50 on a bottle sometimes like that, and I know it's quality ingredients.
Yeah, so as you guys already know from the first video, hopefully you watch it, Oren makes a ton of money apparently. So he doesn't mind spending $40, $50 on multivitamins.
Well, no, because if I spend $50 and you're spending $20, you might be, by the time you use 2 or 3 bottles, I'm still finishing my first
$20, man. That's it. Yeah, but I think Costco has a really good multivitamin. I think anything Costco related, that's a brand at Costco, is usually tends to be pretty good. So I think they have a giant bottle for like $30. That's like 5 months or 4 months or something like that. So
very cool. All right, so we're going to get into the main event of this video for at least Jerry and I, which was the protein. I guess what we could talk about, Jerry, is this. There's 2 types of protein. There's 2 main types of protein from what I can see. There is your whey protein. Well, we can really say 3 types, and we could talk about the third one. But there's whey protein, casein protein, and plant protein. Okay? Now, there's a difference with plant protein and whey protein. But why don't I think you know better than I do on casein protein. Why don't you talk about your experience and what you think about that?
Yep. So my experience with protein, this goes back in the days, you always, saw in the magazines or watched, I don't even know if YouTube was around back then, but essentially you knew that you always had to have your protein shake post-workout, right? So this protein shake was usually whey protein. That's been like the staple for as long as I could remember is whey protein. And the main reason for that is because whey is easily and quickly digestible, right? So the moment you finish your workout and you have your muscles all pumped up, you want to get nutrients into those muscles. That's going to help with recovery, right? Hence why they say to drink a protein shake immediately after your workout. Now, I know that there's probably studies out there that say that you don't have to drink it immediately after your workout. There's a window where if you have it within 1 to 3 hours now, apparently you'll get the same effect as if you had it 20 minutes or 5 minutes after your workout. But going back into the proteins, so you have your whey protein, egg protein, plant protein, and casein protein. My two favorite ones are going to be your whey and your casein protein. Now, the main reason for that is because, pre-workout and post-workout, you want to get a protein source that's quickly absorbed in the body, right? You're about to go weight training. You want to make sure that you have your amino acids and your protein drink before your workout to aid in, number one, recovery, and also prevent muscle breakdown when you're working out. So whey protein, quickly digestible. It's going to be your staple pre and post workout. Casein, the other side of casein is what makes it popular is that casein is slowly digested in the body in your stomach. So the main reason people use it is to the main reason why people would use it is when they go to bed usually. And the main reason for that is because when you go to bed, you go through a period of time, 6 to 8 hours, where you're fasting. You're not eating anything. So by having a casein protein shake or having any type of food that's high in casein, it will help slowly release protein into your bloodstream as you sleep throughout the night. Slowly releasing protein while you sleep will also help with muscle recovery as well. Now, right from what I have seen, there's now research saying that having a blended protein, so a mixture of whey and casein together, also has a much better effect in muscle size and recovery. So think of pre-workout. If you were to have a whey and casein blended protein shake, you're getting kind of the best of both worlds. You're getting a quick digested protein that hits the bloodstream quickly, and then also the casein side of it, where as you're working out, you're also slowly getting your protein, your amino acids in the system as you work out. So from what I think that the research was saying was they compared two groups. One just had whey protein when they worked out and for recovery, etc. And the other one had a blended protein of whey and casein mixed together. The group that had the blended protein ended up gaining more muscle size and more strength than the group that just had whey protein alone. So that's more emerging. I'm pretty sure that you're just fine with whey or casein. It doesn't matter. But those are my thoughts on it. I personally do a blended protein now just based on what I have seen.
Gotcha. So what I can say is for protein, I mean, Jerry did cover up pretty well a lot of it. And something that, to go one step further for me, I wanted to make sure the protein I'm getting was a quality protein. Just like with that's my take on most of the supplements. I want to make sure I'm not putting like garbage in my body. And what I did was I was using a basic protein. I found it like GNC or whatever, and did some research on it within a year and found out like I wasn't getting the best thing I could put in my body when it comes to protein. So what I want to do is I want to share my screen here, guys, and I want to show you the difference of two brands. Now, I'm not trying to say like either brand is better or whatever. All I'm saying is the difference. And the main thing I think you can agree here, Jerry, is that any supplement you buy, any protein you buy, a transparent label is something you want to have, right? Mm-hmm. If you guys don't know what a transparent label is basically if you see a label and it's got, your fats, this, and then on the bottom it says everything is included. A transparent label will say exactly to the T most of the times. It includes this amount of sucralose, this amount of stevia, this amount of fats, or whatever, right? If it's not transparent, it usually will show some sort of proprietary blend or something, and it'll have a whole bunch of ingredients in a little box, and it'll say like 5 grams of this blend, and it could be like Joe Schmo's special blend of protein. Mm-hmm. And have all this stuff, and meanwhile, it has 5 grams of all this stuff combined. But if your main source, if you really just wanted to make sure you get the best whey protein, you don't really know how much whey protein is in there because you're just buying this blend thing that is put in this product. So what we're going to do is I'm going to flip you over to this screen over here and just want to show you exactly what we're talking about here. So this is one of the most common brands out there, which is what is it, Optimum Nutrition, right, Jerry?
Yeah, Optimum Nutrition, yeah.
Premium performance whey. And as you can see, you got your nutrition facts. This you're going to find in every single protein that you're looking for. But once you come into this ingredients area, you can see they already start with a blend. So you really have no clue exactly on how much of each protein is in there. And it tells you all, whey hydrolyzed, whey isolate. so on and so forth. So you got all this, but you're not sure how much is in there exactly. So they could be filling it with a bunch of sucralose and you just don't know it because it just says it there. Now, a brand that I actually use, and like I said, anybody can use whatever they want, but is NutriBio. And that's the reason is because of the quality and the transparent label. So as you can see, we still got the same nutritional facts here, but this is what sold me on it and what I look for. So right off the bat, it says whey protein isolate, which we can get into, Jerry, also. But it tells you right here, it's got 28.74 grams of WPI 90 yielding. So what that means, some people don't know this, but WPI 90 means it's a 90% protein isolate, meaning the core of the protein, 90% of it is whey protein. Now, versus like the premium whey on, it's not on their website, obviously, but from testing that I've seen, and this is not 100%, I've just seen, websites post this, they said they run between 30 and 40% of a protein. So, that's saying like the rest is filler, and I got basically at 30% of a protein. So, obviously you want to get 100% of a protein if you can, and then that you get 100% of protein, that's what you're paying for. So, the nice thing about a brand like this is they'll tell you to the T, like even here in the other ingredients. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Like, you got flavoring, natural flavor. That's always a myth, right, Jerry? Like natural flavor. I've never been able to answer what natural flavor means.
I mean, I think that, yeah.
Like you see like seltzer water, it'll be like raspberry, just as natural flavor.
It's like infused with something. Like what flavor is this actually? Is it chocolate?
I think this is like a new odd flavor I got.
Oh no,
a latte.
Latte. Ooh, I'm sure that tastes wonderful.
But here's something that a lot of people look for, especially people that are against sugar, keto diet, blah blah blah. Stevia extract. How much type of sugars are they putting in this? 185 milligrams. You're not going to find that in a lot of labels because they're not going to want to tell you that. They're going to load it up with as much as they can, so it's sweet, and people these days want to drink, something they want to drink that they like. So let me take you back off this thing. But yeah, so basically the types of protein, you guys can pick whatever you want. Obviously, I do go for this brand because I'm able to see exactly what I'm putting in my body versus one that has blends and you can't really tell. You know what I mean, Jerry?
Yeah, I mean, I personally started using NutriBio as well. Once I saw that research on the whole blended protein thing, I started looking for a supplement company that made a blended protein, and I found 3 in particular. One is actually called Naked Whey or Naked.
Yes.
I guess they call the brand Naked.
That's an expensive one, I know.
Yeah, they make a blended protein, but I didn't really like it because it was a plain flavor, right? They also pride themselves on not having sweeteners and all this stuff, but it was just literally too bland. It literally tasted like a regular glass of milk. Gotcha. And the other side to it too was while it didn't have sweeteners and it was naked, it had a ton of sodium. So that was a protein that every time I drank it pre or post workout, I did feel bloated because of the amount of sodium that it had. That's my personal opinion on that. The other one is the gym supplement brand. He does make a blended protein. My issue with gym supplements is just the amount of fillers that are in the protein. While it's a really good blend, it has a lot of extra, in my opinion, unnecessary crap that you don't need. So I started looking for another company, and I found that NutriBio makes a supplement called Muscle Matrix, which is a blend of whey and casein. Now, I would love for it to have maybe egg protein, a little bit of egg protein in there as well. But I have found that the Muscle Matrix, the chocolate, the cookies and cream, they both taste very good. I will be a customer for as long as I can until something else comes along with better research. But NutriBio Muscle Matrix, in my opinion, is one of my favorite supplements, and you can get it on Amazon.
I guess what we're going to end the video here with this last thing. I think this is a common misconception that people have, Jerry. I do want your take on this.
Sure.
I do have a friend that basically, just like so I take mostly Cage Muscle. That's the brand I take for all the supplements. I do take NutriBio for protein just. But this person likes a brand called Sasha Fitness, okay? And it's basically, at the end of the day, like Jay Cutler, bodybuilders that have their own brands, it's, if it's you, Jerry, like you become famous and you want your own line of supplements and protein and your bodybuilding, whatever, you just go to a random company, you sign a deal, you put your name on the thing, and it is what it is. But, most times you can have your say and say, hey, I want to make sure when you guys make this for me, it doesn't have this, or whatever you believe in, right? But the problem I have with those type of like companies that now, yes, certain of those products could be great and whatever, that's fine. But from me doing my own research, and I do want your take on this, these like that same protein that you're making, let's say, right, that it's called Jerry's Protein now, and you're famous, people are going to buy it because they believe in you, and if you're a bodybuilder and you're taking it, they're probably going to look that way, or whatever, because you're going to promote that you're taking this, and meanwhile, you might not be taking it. You to sell, make product, or make sales, or whatever. But I think the common misconception here is that people buy things based off look who's on the label, or who's sponsoring that brand. For instance, like Redcon 1 has Brian Shaw, World's Strongest Man. Mm-hmm. I will admit, the first second I saw he was on that, I was like, whoa, I got to look at Redcon 1 stuff. That was my real initial reaction. I was like, if he's doing this, I got to see what he's buying and what's there, because I want to look as big as him. I mean, I really don't anymore. But at the beginning of me working out, I was like, I'm going to be as big as him.
Big boy.
But, what is your take on that? Because that same product that you're going to be selling called Jerry's Fitness, or this one, Sasha Fitness Protein, right, it's probably $40 or $50 for a 2-pound tub. Mm-hmm. And that's typically what I see when it comes to a person attached to something. Whereas if you go buy your GNC, you're on whatever, NutriBio at sometimes $29.99. Sometimes you get a buy one, get one. You get it for like $19.99. It just depends on the deals. So what is your take on like that type of misconception?
Well, I mean, it really depends. I mean, I think that if you're somebody who becomes famous and wants to start your own supplement company, right, you're going to think about what is like ethically, to you. Is it the sweeteners? Is it the additives? Like whatever it is. In my opinion, if you're going to do your own supplement company, just make a high quality product. From what I'm seeing today, and at least in myself, is I will pay a little bit extra for a high quality product, knowing that I know what it has inside. Maybe that's not the case for a college student who's just making it, right? Probably $20 5-pound jug of Optimum Nutrition is just fine just to get you by. But what I'm seeing with like older people is that people that make a little bit more money tend to pay a little bit more for the quality of the product. But really, what it really comes down to is also a really good diet, the right supplements, and also understand that a lot of the people that you see in magazines that are promoting these products, the majority are likely going to be in performance-enhancing drugs. So don't think just because you did Jay Cutler protein, you're going to get as big as Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler has a strict nutrition plan. He takes performance, well, probably not anymore because he's not competing, but he used to take performance-enhancing drugs, train 4 or 5 hours a day. That's really what makes up the body that he has, not all of the supplements that they're taking. My personal opinion is that supplementation is probably like 1 to 3% of your, in quotes, gains at the gym. Everything else is really hard, workouts, good recovery, and a really, really good nutrition program. The supplements, 1 to 3%. And I was talking to Oren about this before the video. Supplements are not required. They're not. You can easily go to the gym with a cup of coffee and have a piece of chicken as your protein source now. So it's not required, but they definitely aid in the process of reaching your goal, whether it's to bulk up, lose weight, et cetera, et cetera. But don't be sold on seeing, your bodybuilder that's 300 pounds of muscle and you're like, oh my God, if I take that pre-workout and drink his protein, I'm going to be like that in a year. Not true unless you take performance enhancing drugs, which is very, very common in bodybuilding.
Gotcha. All right, guys, I think that wraps up today. We did discuss creatine, glutamine, protein, and multivitamins, and basically our experiences with them. Like I said, this is not coming from any PhD nutritionist, dietitian, anything, just our real life experiences. Hope you guys enjoyed Comment down below what your thoughts are. We gladly appreciate if you guys want to let us know your thoughts on, maybe there's certain things that you thought we said were not correct. We love to hear it. And, it's always a debate in a supplement area. People always have difference of opinions. And other than that, on the bottom right, guys, we would appreciate if you would subscribe, hit that like button. That's also greatly appreciated. And we're going to be coming back to you with the next video here pretty soon. So we appreciate everything you guys are doing for us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Take care.